everyone, I'm Pavlina from Pavlina's Kidz Place. I'm here in the beautiful Sarasota, Florida, right outside of Louise Modern. We're getting ready to talk with singer and songwriter PJ Morton. We're going to talk about songwriting and career paths. Let's go check it out.
You know, you're the only one that I need, one that I need, one that I need. Oh. I know you've heard me say the same things before.
Hey everyone, I'm Pavlina from Pavlina's Kidz Place. We're here in Sarasota, and we're talking with this amazing artist. He's a singer and songwriter and member of Maroon 5, PJ Morton. First of all, I talked with your dad not too long ago at the Stellar Awards, and he won some Stellars, and he was talking about how busy you were and how proud he was of you and everything. You wrote some songs on his album, you have your own album, and you're working with Maroon 5. How do you balance everything?
I don't know. It's just, you know, when it comes at you, you just got to adjust. You know, me and my dad, we had a great time at the Grammys because we were both nominated, you know, father and son, first time in 15 years. So we've been hanging out together and, you know, but I just learned to adjust. You know, I don't have a choice. So it's good problems to have, though.
Exactly, it definitely is. So rewinding a little bit back to your dad, what can you tell me about your dad?
You know, my dad is my first inspiration in music. He was my first supporter. He was my first investor. He's been with me from the beginning and always encouraged me. And he's an amazing artist in his own right, you know. So it was just, it's always been inspiring to have him behind me and you know, right by my side.
Yeah, and he's a singer, a gospel singer, and so having a gospel background, has there ever been a thing with Maroon 5 where you were just like, no, I'm not going to do that kind of thing?
No, I think, you know, as an artist myself, I've always done music outside of gospel music. You know, my father's who he is, I am who I am. But no, I feel like, you know, it's my profession, it's the work that I'm doing, and, you know, I'm open to things. And Maroon hasn't done anything crazy where I just felt like I had to, make a stand or something.
Definitely. Okay. Yeah. And kind of relating to that, you wrote a book called Why Can't I Sing About Love? What can you tell me about that?
It's just kind of dealing with that age-old argument, you know, of church versus secular music, sacred music versus secular music. And I just felt like I had something to say about it that hadn't really been said before. Usually I think it was, you know, people using the same scripture, you can't serve two masters, and things that were out of context, basically. And I just really wanted to, I think before anybody dealt with it head on, they would like leave the church or get upset and rebel. And I didn't want to rebel. I just wanted to deal with it. And once I started to really look inward, because I was at a crossroads myself to, you know, maybe I wasn't meant to do music outside of gospel. But when I started to look in the very Bible that people were telling me, was telling me not to do what I was supposed to do, is where I got my freedom and where I saw that this is what I'm meant to do.
Something my audience probably doesn't know is that you wrote your album and stuff, like you're going into your own thing while you were on tour with Maroon 5. So did you have a lot of support with the Maroon 5 guys from that?
Yeah, those guys, those are my brothers, man. You know, I mean, most of the time I was in my hotel room writing or on the tour bus writing, but you know, Adam is on my album, and we cut that on the road. You know, James Valentine, the guitar player in Maroon 5, we did all the music on the bus, and I cut Adam's vocal in his hotel room. You know, so it's just we're just friends, and you know, and they're very supportive. Also, you know, even after putting out the record, they allowed me to do double duty where I was opening out the tour and playing with Maroon. So it's like, yeah, those guys are 100% behind me, you know. Yeah.
That's amazing since you were going from a different genre and everything. It was just really great that they're so supportive. Totally. And they were also, some of the Maroon 5 guys and some other people were in your music video, Only One, correct?
Yeah. Mickey and James were in my video.
That's awesome. Yeah, I noticed some familiar faces. I was like, that's cool. Yeah. So, and then Stevie Wonder, who is one of your biggest influences and everything. How did you get him involved with your song?
Well, I reached out to friends of mine, all that I knew, to try to get me to Stevie, and I eventually got to a drummer friend of mine who used to play for Stevie, and he sent me to somebody who works for Stevie, and she just happened to be from my hometown and a fan of my music, and was really able to, you know, convince Stevie to listen to it. He listened to it and liked it, and that was, I guess, the only requirement for him was that I like it, you know, and it got to me, so.
Yeah, that's amazing to have a legend really like work with you on this kind of stuff. So now I have some questions from a acoustic rock band. They're called Chords and Keys, and they'll be talking about your music on my show.
Okay.
So first question is, as a new musician, what would you recommend to a new band, like for getting a fan base?
You know, just perfect your music as much as possible. Try to hash out the best songs that you can, and really work on that live show, you know, and really work on the presentation of playing in front of people, so that when you get in front of any group, I mean, I've played in front of 10 people before, you know, in the beginning, but that 10 turns into 20, and the 20 turns into 100, and so on and so forth, because you've perfected it and done something incredible. So I would just say, perfect your craft as much as you can.
Definitely. And I was actually talking with, I think it was the Kevin Jonas, that was a long time ago, and he was saying how, like, when they started out, they performed the same way for when they performed with 10 people or 1,000 people. It's the same performance.
Yeah, you gotta, there's no off, you know, you gotta be on, and it's go time all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Have you ever written a song or used a song that, like, compromised your style or your musical brand to get, like, a hit? And what advice would you give new artists to help them maintain their authenticity while still being commercial?
I personally haven't compromised, you know, and it's easy to do because, you know, you want to be successful, but for me, it just wasn't worth it at the end of the day. And, you know, and that's what it comes down to. Is it worth it to you to have the hit to compromise yourself? Or, you know, for some people, they can disconnect and you know, detach from it and be able to just do it for the money. But I would say, you know, now in music is the best time, if ever, to remain who you are, because you look at people like Lord, who just blew up with, you know, Royals, and it wasn't what radio sounded like. You look a couple of years before that, and Adele coming out and being the biggest artist of that year, and she was doing what was going against radio. And you look at Daft Punk and Pharrell with Happy and Get Lucky, it wasn't what radio was sounding like. So I think the thing is to not chase and to do what you feel is dope and what you feel is incredible, and it'll get its shine. I don't think you have to chase anything, because things are moving faster than ever. So it's nothing to chase, you know?
Yeah, it definitely is. And Happy, like you said before, it's actually one of my favorite songs right now. I love that song.
It doesn't sound like anything on the radio.
No, it doesn't. And every time I hear it, I'm just like, oh, this is amazing. I'm so happy now. So how did you, you know, so to speak, get away from fitting in to, like, standing out in terms of your music and separating yourself from everyone else?
Well, I think when you're the individual person, and you know, a lot of times we get an idea and then we second guess it and then kind of change it to cater to what people can handle. But I think when you stay true to that initial thought and that initial feeling, it can only be individual, because there's only one you. So I think it's just staying true to who you are and sticking to your guns when it comes to what you hear and feel.
Yeah. Definitely, you is you. That's definitely it.
Yeah.
So, and finally, a nervous question, of course. You know, young bands are always getting nervous.
Yeah.
So, how did you handle your nerves during a concert or like a live set?
You know, unfortunately, there's no other remedy besides just doing it. You just have to get out there and do it. I was very I was a keyboard player first, never nervous to play, but when it was time to sing, my legs would shake, my hands would shake. But I just had to keep doing it and shake in front of some people, and then eventually I was able to get into it, you know. But there's no other remedy besides, like, just doing it. So just stay at it. If you love it, if that's what you really want to do, just stick with it.
Yeah, getting out there and doing it, that's like all you can really do, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Cool. Well, I'm Pavlina, and we have been talking with PJ Morton, amazing singer and songwriter right here. So you can check out all of his latest stuff on pjmortononline.com, correct?
Yeah, that's right. You got it.
That's cool. Thank you so much for talking to me.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
I know it took a long time, but now I'm here.